Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, partners and colleagues, good morning and welcome to the EdTech session in the scope of Digital Leadership Forum. 2023 has been declared the year of human care and quality education in Uzbekistan. The government pays great attention to education, in particular IT education. And today's event is one of the examples of uniting the local and international EdTech industry to develop the sphere. The topic of our today's conference is Global IT Skills Gap, investing in education to meet the demand. Dear guests, I am honored to stand here in front of you, and I'm sure today we will have the opportunity to explore strategies and solutions to tackle the global IT skills gap. We have a very highly topical program with experts ready to share their valuable experiences and contribute to the development of actionable strategies. Now, let me mention some instructions. Time allocated for speaker's presentation is 5-6 minutes. After each presentation, you will have up to 2 minutes to ask your questions to the speaker. After finishing the conference, we will move to the panel discussion. So, our first honorable speaker will open our conference with a speech on the Unlocking Uzbekistan's IT Education Exploring Human Potential topic. Let's start our session and welcome the Deputy Minister of Digital Technologies of Republic of Uzbekistan, Rustam Karimjanov. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Uzbekistan, welcome to Tashkent, welcome to Ministry of Digital Technologies, and welcome to Digital Leadership Forum, first forum in Uzbekistan, where we try to collect and bring all the IT leaders from all over the world and come to Uzbekistan to help achieve not only Uzbekistan's goal, it's a global goal to make our people and people's life better. And in the basis of human potential and unlocking the potential of humanity stands education. So today I wanted to discuss with you, with our team, how we can achieve $5 billion export of IT services, which was announced in the morning session. Of course, robots cannot do it. Yes, it will be done only with people, and educated people. So our goal, in order to achieve 5 billion export, which is very high goal, and we should unlock our potential of our talents in Uzbekistan. So one more time, thank you very much for coming, and I'm very happy to see all the IT education institutions which are working in Uzbekistan, which are preparing the talents to Uzbek and international market. So how are we gonna explore in the next 7 years? So we should discuss with you today our next steps, how we're gonna work together, and I wanted to share with short information about the overall situation in Uzbekistan. 4 years ago, when I worked at the Ministry of Public Education as a deputy minister, I heard only 3 or 4 IT universities with IT faculties, like maybe a couple of thousand IT people who were studying. Today, in 2023, we are talking about 66 universities in Uzbekistan, and more than 24 of them are international or private universities, which are preparing nowadays more than 50,000 IT talents nowadays. In upcoming 2 years, this number will be 75,000 students learning, studying, experiencing getting skilled in IT sphere, who will be everywhere. Every year, we are expecting 18,000 students come to job market. These are the professionals who will have jobs in IT market, whether it's going to be in local market, whether it's going to be expert market or international market. So, and our main point would be spreading our knowledge not only in Tashkent, but do main focus to regions, because talents are in the regions. Talents are in the regions because from my point of view, the Tashkent guys are, a bit lazy because they have everything. Good family, good condition, good money, all the conditions are created. But in the regions, they have very, good ambitions if you create good conditions for them. So our goal in the next phase will be exploring the talents in the regions. And that's why today in the morning, in opening session, we, together with Acharya University, announced opening of the new university in not Tashkent, not in Bukhara city, in Karakol district of Bukhara city. And the reason to do it is Acharya University, when they came to Uzbekistan, they explored the talent. They explored talent not from Uzbekistan, not from Tashkent. They explored the talent from Karakol, because Karakol is #1 in the world for preparing mathematicians. All the international Olympiads winners, most of the Olympiad winners in the international arena comes from Karakol school. And the best way to transfer mathematicians to IT professionals is exploring and unlocking the talent of those people, of these guys. So in this presentation, you can see that under our ministry, from today, we have 6 universities who are led and preparing the talents. And in the next coming years, we are inviting all the international IT universities to come to Uzbekistan, explore the regions and open their universities. And from the government side, we will be creating all necessary conditions like building, investment if necessary, government support, and our team is 24/7 ready to support to make sure we prepare 300 key talents in IT sphere. So, as I said, it's a big journey which is waiting for us, very difficult. Our ministry itself cannot do it at our own. So all these people who are sitting here from today's mission would be climbing this mountain of 5 billion. So 3 years ago, we were somewhere here. It's 600,000 billions. And 5-6 years ago, when you asked in the street, who are you? What are you doing? Only 1 out of 10 person can say, I know something in IT, something. Now, if you do research and survey in the schools, if you ask 1 out of 2 person, say, I want to learn IT. It doesn't matter whether this guy will become IT professional or not, but the desire to learn IT, its inspiration of IT industry in Uzbekistan is like growing this much. So this is also very important. And of course, to support our government mission, we need to prepare highly qualified IT specialists. In this slide, you can see it's not only about preparing only IT professionals. We are aiming prepare international level expertise IT professionals. We have 300,000 IT professionals in Uzbekistan now. We have them, but they are not qualified to do expert yet. So our main goal would be preparing international level IT professionals, which is absolutely different level. So you know that Uzbekistan is, have a big population. Nowadays we have 36 millions, and I want to turn your attention that in 2040, it's like after 10 years, our population will be 50 million. 50 million. Every year to job market, we have an inflow of 1 million of young generation who needs to be, placed in some works. And our government is paying big attention to make sure our children have good knowledge and skills in IT. Why? Because of the migration, high rate of migration. The goal of our government, we don't want our young generation go other country and being humiliated and doing bad jobs. We want our children in the future stay in the homes with their family, enjoy having time with their family and earn good money. And the only way is only two things: English language and IT. So this is our priority, because it's not only our ministry's mission, it's a mission of our government. So with our team, we will be working on this, and in 2014, Central Asian population will be reaching 100 million, and half of it will be Uzbekistan's population. So, and as you heard in the opening ceremony, we want to become the regional IT hub. And we are talking not only about Central Asia, we are talking about the region. So we have very ambitious goals, and we want to make it together with you. These are the rough numbers where we are heading. So I want you to make a picture of it. So every year we will be checking our clocks, whether we are hitting the numbers, hitting the results or not. So the number of the IT graduates in universities up to 2030, we want to have 30,000 every year, which means the number of students studying at the same time would be reaching more than 100,000. Expected number of IT courses in IT centers, which are very much developing in Uzbekistan, exceeding 500,000. Number of IT education residents. Nowadays, we have more than 200 IT education residents in IT park. 3 years ago, there were 11. 11 only. It's 20 times more in 3 years. So we want to create all necessary conditions to all IT education residents in order to make sure they nurture talent, good talent for expert and local companies. And expected number of international education platforms. Of course, most of you know that in Uzbekistan we have launched a lot of international open platforms like Coursera, edX, Udemy, and others. So we want to increase the number of students, school kids studying in those programs. So these are some initiatives our ministry and our government is doing in the IT education sphere. As you know, 3-4 years ago, we started the 1 million Uzbek coder program. And at that time, when I traveled around the world, a lot of my colleagues were laughing at this figure. Nowadays, they are crying and asking how we did it. How we did it. So nowadays, we are sharing our experience with our international friends who didn't believe in us 3 years ago. Now it's vice versa. So, and we are very open. We are ready to share our experience. And we are starting second stage of 1 million Uzbek coders together with Coursera. We already started the project, and within 2 months, the number of applicants of this program reached 100,000 people throughout Uzbekistan only in 2 months. Within this year, we are reaching 1 million people studying IT education through online platforms. Second project we are working on is IT skills project. Government want to select 5,000 talented IT specialists from 50,000 yearly, select the best 5,000 and invest in their education, government itself, and prepare to international market. Second, because in the regions, not every family can afford studying in IT education centers or IT universities. So government decided from now on, educate every year 5,000 students. There will be the selection process, everything. And then 5,000 talented IT professionals will be financed by government to get education in IT sphere. Next project we are starting from now on is IT Park Talents project. This project is about stimulating and helping IT education centers in Uzbekistan. For each talent they prepare for the expert market, they receive $2,000 in return. For each specialist they prepare for expert. For example, if one IT academy in Uzbekistan prepares 100 specialists in 1 year for expert, they can earn or get their money back for $2 million yearly. So this is the government support for IT education institutions we are launching this year. And if the IT education center prepares people with special needs, government pays $3,000 in order to support those people who are unable to work in the central areas with good condition in good offices like we work. Staying home, earning good money, learning, and giving hope for those kids who are in the regions and disabled, but have good, perfect minds. So government will be supporting those people also in IT sphere. And also we have we have already launched a couple of projects to support young generation. Again, those generation who doesn't have money to get the international IT certification or get the English language certification. Government 100% returns money for the getting the IT certification, international IT certification, and also the IELTS English language certification. This also in 4 months we received more than 30,000 young people given back their money for getting the IT certification, which means 30,000 people, young generation, which couldn't have this opportunity to receive this certification, they received it. And they have opportunity to enter the international company. So, and we also launched the program to subsidize the to lease the notebooks to young generation for those people who go through the 1 million Uzbek coders program. Those who graduate the certification of 1 million Uzbek coders program, we from the government side provide a notebook, a laptop for 0% lease for 2-3 years. And then in 2 or 3 months, we received close to 30,000 youth received laptops, which couldn't receive before. So this program's already launched. It's working. It's taking its speed. And we want you to help us to grow these numbers. And maybe you have heard about the President Tech Award project our president launched. It's a $1 million project for startuppers. Those startup, its the main goal would be generating and helping startup companies, startup ideas, startup companies, young generation, to popularize among our young generation to learn and create their own startups. I think most of you have been in many countries and read international news. And for myself, I never heard $1 million prize for startup competition. So Uzbekistan is doing it, and Uzbekistan ready to do it, and Uzbekistan will be investing in education every day. So the goal is simple: prepare international level 300K specialists in Uzbekistan. We are ready to attract local and international investment in IT companies. We welcome you all in Uzbekistan. We are ready to relocate IT universities, top IT universities in Uzbekistan. We are ready to support establishing the IT centers in Uzbekistan, and government will be creating all necessary conditions. Thank you very much. If you need any contacts, I will be around, and we appreciate your time and being with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rustam Alimjonovich. It was very insightful presentation showing efforts of the government to strengthen IT human potential in the country. Now, let me give a floor to the second speaker. But before, I want to highlight that he is highly appreciated by IT Park partner, as our partnership already allowed us to provide opportunity to study IT more than to 100,000 people in Uzbekistan. He spent 2 days to fly to Uzbekistan and arrived only 2 hours ago. But he is ready to share his thoughts about online education. So, Customer Service Manager at Coursera, Mr. Nagar, the floor is yours.
First and foremost, thank you so much for the warm hospitality. I've had a wonderful experience so far. I traveled from India and I work closely with the IT Park team as a part of the Coursera program that we have. Yeah, and I'm here to talk about, how digital education, online education, and what we are seeing as trends across the world, and how we also see Uzbekistan as a region picking up on these trends and on these technologies, and how it's impacting the goals that the minister just shared with us a while ago. So I'll start with I think we all would agree. We have all heard a lot about how some of the jobs globally are going to be replaced by technology, going to be replaced by automation and artificial intelligence. So the way you see it, the most vulnerable jobs here which are going to be impacted by technology, by automation, and what you see here are the jobs which were least assumed to be impacted by technology and automation, right? And our goal in terms of education has always been to move people in the low skill area, which is more supposed to be impacted by technology and automation, and move them towards highly skilled professions which are least likely to be impacted by technology, right? We have all heard and seen this several times over the last several years. But what has also happened in the last few months, we all know with the advent of generative AI, all of us have heard of ChatGPT, I'm sure. So what has also happened is even the jobs which are highly skilled are now in an area where they are also looking at how that job also gets impacted by generative AI. So that's the way the technology and the digital skills are changing. And everyone in the room, all the professionals who are entering the job market, and everyone who aspires to be in the digital job in near future, they need to keep themselves updating with the new technologies, with the new skills, with the new in-demand roles, right? And that's how the digital skills are evolving. What we are also seeing as an organization is the way employers are looking at hiring professionals, right? While till a few years back, a lot of hiring used to happen based on the degrees that students or graduates would come up with once they graduate. Now a lot of employers are moving towards skill-based hiring, right? A lot of employers say that I will only hire, yes, you have a degree, which you are bringing from your university, but I'll also look at what skills you are bringing to the table, and that's how I'll make a hiring decision. So that's what we see on this particular slide. Employers are considering skills-first hiring, and more candidates who are open for jobs are looking at gaining those skills, gaining those badges, gaining those certificates, which will signal to the potential employer that, hey, I have this additional digital skill that makes me proficient and fit for a digital job. So that's what we are also seeing. And based on research, some of the jobs that we see globally are in demand and are growing in demand every year. I'm sure all of us have heard of data analyst as a job role, machine learning experts as a job role, business development, automation specialist. So these are the kind of roles that we are seeing globally gaining popularity in the graduates, gaining demand from employers. And that's where, we are seeing higher education play a very important role. Preparing the students, preparing the graduates for the in-demand role, and the digital learning overall, how it impacts and how we are seeing that also impacting, the outcomes, and how we see that integrating into the overall academics. There's a trend of blended learning. Of course, a lot of students learn with the faculty, but in order to gain those extra credentials, how they can gain those online through platforms like Coursera. That's gaining a lot of popularity globally. Prioritizing employability, as you mentioned, sir, that's of course the end goal. How do we create more economic opportunities for all the graduates so that whatever skills they have developed, they are putting it to good use for the local nation, staying at home and earning good money, and improving affordability. A lot of initiatives by the government already, which the minister shared, and with the advent of online education, accessibility to quality education becomes a very important factor. So these are the few things how online education we are seeing is impacting the trends in terms of digital learning as well. Now coming to how we are supporting the ambitions of IT Park and the ministry and the government as well. So far in the program itself, we have seen more than 120,000 learners in Uzbekistan gain digital skills. The skills that are relevant for jobs of the future, the skills that are going to be important for their careers in Uzbekistan as the government is planning. So we see some of the key skills, say data visualization or data analytics, machine learning, computer technologies. These are the skills that the learners in Uzbekistan have picked up. And this has happened in just last 3 or 4 months, right? And the numbers already are phenomenal. And of course, we are working closely with the team to see how do we make them significantly higher in coming months as well. So far, as you see, more than 100,000 learners already gaining these skills. In coming months, in partnership with IT Park, we plan to make this 1 million. We plan to make this 2.5 million as well. And all these learners who are learning on Coursera platform, they are gaining skills from some of the top universities in the world. They are gaining these skills from top industry partners such as Google, Microsoft. They have an opportunity to learn from the University of Michigan, Duke University, so on and so forth. And what we also see and would like to highlight, some of the ways that universities and our partners are leveraging the platform globally as well. Two use cases mainly, focusing one on the academic excellence and two on focusing on the career readiness of the students, right? So if I take an example of Mapua University, their core focus was, hey, I need to grow into rankings globally, right? And they integrated Coursera courses into the academics, freed up faculty time, focused on research, focused on quality education for their learners, and they grew in rankings globally. And there's another university in India, Graphic Era, which has focused completely on employment outcomes for their students, right? And once the students take up courses from our industry partners, we have seen great results, job offers from dream companies, the average salaries have gone up for those students. So all in all, great outcomes we are seeing globally as well, and which we, of course, in partnership with IT Park and with partnership with with the Uzbekistan government, we'll make sure that happens within the region as well. So I'll just take a pause here and see if there are any questions I can answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nagar. We are moving on to our next speaker, with whom our partnership is just started. But we have already noticed important role of his company in the market of IT education of Uzbekistan. So our reputable guest from Bangladesh, Director of the Institute of Continuing Education and IT, Manirul Islam. The floor is yours, please.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to thank you for joining me, as we will be talking about future ready IT education, which is a very crucial topic in today's era. And we will discuss like how future ready IT education is playing a great role to shape the architects of the digital economy. Malcolm X rightly said that education is the passport to the future, right? For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So this highlights the idea that the actions that we take today to educate our next generation will have a profound impact on the possibilities and opportunities that we can have in the future. We must, in this rapidly evolving landscape, it is imperative that we educate, we equip our students with the right skills and knowledge so that they can succeed in this digital era. Let us see the transformative impact of digital economy. As you can see, in 2020, the global digital economy was valued at a staggering $11.5 trillion, and it is projected to reach a staggering $23 trillion by 2025. So this is going to be like maybe the second or third largest economy of the world, the IT or digital economy itself. So if we want to reap the benefit of this digital economy, we must educate our next generation with the future ready IT education so that we can stay ahead in the competition. And this exponential growth is fueled by the emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, cyber security, data analytics, big data analytics, and so on. And the adoption of AI technologies is expected to add additional 15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. So AI will take the market eventually, of course, and we have to adapt. We have to not only adapt with the technologies, we also have to adapt with the IT curricula that we have, and we have to act fast so that we can cope up with these challenges. And if we look at the Gartner hype cycle for 2022, which identifies the must-know emerging technologies skills that would be in high demand in the next like 5 to 10 years. If you look at, let's say, the Gartner hype cycle in 5 years or 10 years back, you would see that they predicted that AI, cybersecurity, big data analytics, those will take the market, right? So if we look at now, in 2020, we can see like NFT, cloud data ecosystems, industry cloud platforms, then, open telemetry and so on. A lot of new techniques, even machine learning, code generation. See, generative design AI is already there. So we must follow this Gartner hype cycle so that we can predict which technologies will take the market and in the next coming years, and we can prepare our students. Now, let us see like what are the key components of future-ready IT education or IT education 2.0. Like we must ensure that our students stay current and updated with the latest technologies. So the cutting-edge technological proficiency should be there, and alongside the technical expertise, they also need to develop holistic skill development, problem solving, creative thinking, and other things as well. According to a survey by LinkedIn, they said that 73% of the employers prefer soft skills while they hire employees. So along with technical expertise, it is imperative that we also need to develop them holistically so that they can compete in the global market. And very important is industry relevant curriculum. Most of this is what we see, there is a big gap between industry and academia. So we must address these. We need to sit with the industry leaders, and we need to adapt our curriculum so that our curriculums are ready as per the need of the industry. We must ensure innovative teaching approaches, like we need to introduce, let's say, gamification, virtual labs, augmented reality, virtual reality in teaching. We shall make the education more interesting, more engaging, so that they can collaborate and they can innovate faster. And we need to transform the learning spaces as well. Online education is playing a very big role here, and along with aside from these, we need to provide online lab access as well, virtual lab access, so the students can do practical skills in the platforms as well. But of course, there are a lot of challenges in future-ready IT education. And the number one challenge is that the educators also need to stay current with the latest technologies. So how many of the educators are also, preparing them for the future-ready education? So this is one constraint. Number one is lack of funding or resources. We must ensure that the digital divide is not higher. So we must minimize the digital divide as well. We need to ensure quality access to equitable access to quality education to everyone. And the biggest challenge is we are preparing students for the jobs that may not even exist today. So this is the biggest challenge, right? So we need to think about it. So with that, let us say we must acknowledge the transformative power of the future-ready IT education, and let us embrace it. Let us prepare our students so that they can compete in the digital era. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Islam. It was very insightful presentation. I'm sure that we will introduce very good results of our partnership during the next Digital Leadership Forum. And the next speaker is a partner of Uzbekistan contributing to IT education from 2014. It is a partner that was one of the foreign comers to the market of IT education and allowed Uzbekistan to build a strong foundation to become an outsourcing hub of Central Asia. Vice President of Inha University in Korea, Mr. Ki-yong, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm the Vice President of Inha University in charge of the academic affairs. And today I'm honored to be here to share our ideas about digital learning and transformation of education for all. Okay. So considering the for a short period of time given to me, let me start jumping to my talk. My speech consists of two parts. In the first part, I'm going to introduce some usage of technology in the educational field, and then in the second part, we are going to share the IT education program at Inha University. Okay, books, okay, and blackboards. The first two pictures show those. Okay? So the books became very easy to produce with the inventor of the metal types. And then blackboard actually, I found that it was invented in quite late days, so only in around the year 1800 or so. So those two books and blackboards are predominant tools in the educational field for like such a long thousands of years. Okay? And the computer was introduced in the classroom only in the late 20s. But now in these days, you see quite in advancement in the technology as well. As you see, in a lot of classrooms, we use multimedias. Okay, the cell phones that everybody will have here is maybe more capable than the supercomputers of like 30 years ago. So we are living in such days. Now, in some aspect that I'm going to mention, that I have to mention is that the focus is shifting from the hardware to software. Okay? On the cell phones that we have, or even the computers that we have, in terms of functionality, there is not much difference between the Apple computer that the computers over 50 years ago. So the function in terms of functionality is pretty much the same. But the more important thing is the connectivity that is provided by the internet. Okay, on the table at the bottom, you see how the internet is. Internet is widespread in these days. As you know, Korea is one of the very first country that installed in the high-speed internet throughout the country. So about 20 years, almost 20 years ago, year 2005, Korea the penetration ratio was about about 78.9% already. Now, after almost 20 years, the number doesn't have changed that much. It's 81%. But the number that I noticed more is on the the columns on the right-hand side. The OECD average was about 60% about 20 years ago. Now the number is about 78.5%. So the number 80%, since I'm living in that country, I know the importance of that number. So with a number of about 80%, pretty much everybody is exposed to high-speed internet. So you are living in that area, and see on the table, on the graph on the left-hand side, about students spend more than 50 hours in front of computers. And actually, it's quite surprising that students in Korea, on the right-hand side, that they spend less time on computers. Okay, so every student is using computers in these days. And during the COVID, a lot of countries invest a lot of money to provide distance learning. Okay, we don't have any other choices. So you cannot see the fine prints, but most of the country respond in the survey, who participate in the survey responded that, okay, they're going to enhance the provision of digital training for students and teachers as well. But if you look at some other items, the number drops dramatically to less than 50%. Those are the willingness of providing the distance learning. Okay, so some countries are still quite reluctant to providing the education yourself as a distance or online programs only. Okay, so remember this question, and we'll come back to this question in a couple of slides. Now, Coursera, yeah, it's a very popular one. If you look at the internet, you see tons of materials offered online, and this trend, you shouldn't be shy of producing the materials and providing those materials who in need online. Okay, so yeah, everybody has access to these online materials. It's great. So it's great. Students have access to the internet, and also they can access to the materials, fine materials, almost freely. It's wonderful. Now, if you look at some items, they say emergency mass notification systems and let's say smart parking mirrors. Those are tiny ones in these days. But think of this technology that some of them didn't exist, let's say 10 or 20 years ago, and 50 years ago, almost none of them existed. So we consider this high-tech, especially digital technology, used inside classroom or outside classroom, but overall in the university or campus. Okay, so we are exposed to such a high-tech. But if the technology revolution only happens for families that already have money and education, then it's not really a revolution. Okay, that's what was mentioned by the Secretary of Education of the United States. But everybody agrees with that question. It's a very legitimate point. Okay? Now we all talk about the sustainable development. Okay, we cannot keep this kind of development forever. We cannot keep this one forever. So we have to think about the sustainability. And for the sustainable development of a society, providing the quality education is very important. But the beneficiary of the quality education shouldn't be limited to a small group of people. Okay? So providing the quality of education to all the people in the country, in the society, that should be carried by the government. And to accomplish that goal, equity and accessibility is very important. So we have to think about the way to improve the equity and the accessibility of the quality education. And there are some key enablers for this goal. The first one is, of course, stable funding. That's very important. And also we have to teach the teachers. Okay, so the teachers typically they stay in the classroom like 30 or 40 years. The skill that they had at the very beginning, it may be good enough for that period of time, but in 10 or 20 years, it's already old. So they have to re-educate it. That's very important. And third, the pedagogical methodology is also evolving, and especially with the advent of the high techs, the pedagogical method also is changing. So we have to be keen to these changes. Yeah, the horizontal axis is the investment, and the vertical axis is achievement in the education. Yeah, there is a close correlation between the investment and achievement. But fortunately, or unfortunately for some countries, there are some exceptions. On the yellow mark, the performance does not keep up with the investment, but some countries on the above the lines. Okay, so it all depends. Sometimes, yeah, you need to invest a certain minimum amount of money, but the money itself is not enough. It also depends on what we do, how we do, okay, in the classroom. Okay. Now, detect, diagnose, act is very basic step that works for every process actually. Same for in the educational field. So detect, diagnose, and act. Typically, that is done by the teachers in the classroom, in the educational field, and only by the teachers. But if we look at the graph on the left-hand side, the teacher, let's say, spend 50 hours a week. That's not, actually, that's a lot. Okay, they stay in the school for more than 50 hours, but they don't spend that much time directly with students. They can, I mean, there are lots of work given to the teachers, so they don't spend, let's say, hopefully students at least expect the teachers, their teachers to spend a lot of time on them, but students, I mean, the teacher cannot afford such a time. Okay, so what we can do at this point? Remember the question that I mentioned a couple of slides ago. Okay, now this one should be can be filled by the technology that we think. Okay, now we see the potentials of AI technology in this area. So not replacing the teachers, we may help the teachers to spend more, I mean, to do the education, to interact with the students more effectively. Okay, so everybody knows that the data is very important for the AI, but fortunately, we see the great technology in these days, so we can collect the data easily using various methods at the bottom line. Okay, now most of you have contact with the definition of the level of autonomy for the autonomous vehicles. And let's say at level 0, it's just mechanical car. At the, let's say, level 5, the drivers never touch the steering wheel or brake, the pedals. Okay. Same for the, let's say, there is similar definition for the level of autonomy for the drones as well, which I'm familiar with. And let's say for the highest level, just the user set the target point or waypoint and then tell the drone what to do. Then the drone moves autonomously, facing the adversary conditions and overcoming the such conditions, and then finish the work. That's the highest level of autonomy. Okay, people define the same autonomy in the field of education. Eventually, the education, some part of the education can be done fully autonomously, but unfortunately we are at the very beginning part of the autonomy now. But we shouldn't be shy on using this autonomous these high digital technologies, and especially this the AI-based autonomous teaching. That is again not in place of the teachers, but to assist the teachers. Okay. So this is the way. This is the field that the educational industries in these days are aiming for. Providing the course materials online is not enough. Teaching or providing materials is one thing, and the learning is another thing. So we have to see the differences, and also we have to find a way to overcome the differences, and then we have to fill the gap with a bridge. And then that AI can be a potential to be a good bridge between teaching and learning. Now, let me briefly share the experience that in our university experience specifically we call it software-centric university program. Actually, Korean government, the government of Korea is also very keen to raise the highly talented people in the IT technology, just as Uzbekistan. Okay? So they support about 50 universities. That's about 1/4 of the total universities in Korea. And they selected the 50 universities and then support. They say they grant like 1 or 2 millions per year, and then universities selected one of them. And to be selected, just claiming that okay, we are going to double or triple the courses and the IT courses. IT courses, that is not enough. Okay? So you should make some. We have to make a very precise plan to make some differences and to make the education more effective. So here are some the strategic programs that we put in our program, and we were selected last year, and then that program will last 8 years, starting from last year. Okay, I'm going to briefly introduce some of these programs here. The first one is we make it mandatory for all the students to take micro degrees in the IT area, and then we cannot simply force the students to take more IT classes. In our university is a comprehensive university, and we have, of course, Department of Computer Engineering, Department of AI Engineering, Data Science. But on the extreme side, on the other extreme side, we have a Department of Performing Art, we have a Department of Paintings. Okay, so the students in those areas, they are not free from the IT technologies. They shouldn't just end up using the IT technology, but it's more preferable if they have control over the technologies. That's a key point. So instead of forcing them to take more classes, but we broadened our scope, and then we developed more courses suitable for such students. Okay? So in that way, we could make every student, about 4,000 students every year, newcomers, to take at least 1 micro degrees, and preferably 2 or 3 micro degrees in this area. Okay. And also, educating students is not enough. I mentioned that we need to re-educate the teachers as well. So we made it, all the professors reveal the IT technology, IT competencies as well. So both on the student side and professor side, we make them to resharpening their IT technologies. So, of course, there's a strong resistance from the professors, but our president is working hard, and I'm also working hard. But fortunately, even though they may have some negative feelings, but actually there wasn't strong resistance at all. Okay. So everybody knows the necessity of such capabilities. And core-term program is quite popular, and then let's say between BS and MS, and also MS and PhD, they can shorten the time they stay in the school. But we made that freshmen can finish their PhD program in 7 years. It's quite dramatic. So we carefully laid out our program in this way, okay? So that they can start their job or their business under year 30 once they start it. And I said just providing more courses on IT-related courses is not enough for us. So we selected a specific topic of the carbon neutrality. So about 15 departments participate in this program. Let's say I'm in the Department of Aerospace Engineering, and autonomous vehicle is a good research topic for us, and a lot of our students have interest in this field. So we think if the vehicle runs automatically in autonomous way, then it may have a better efficiency than the vehicle that is driven by the human drivers. Okay, so in that way, software-enabled vehicle may contribute to reduce the carbon emissions. So not just our department, but more than 15 departments devise this kind of topic. So we open these classes not just in our department. We open these classes to everyone in our campus. So not just students. We also formed a group of consultants who are expertise in the IT technologies. Okay, we made as a team, and then we run this program in the process that we can accomplish it. We can improve the quality constantly. Okay. And also, we don't want to end this the value that we created during with this program within our campus. So sharing the value that we gained with other people is very important. We consider a very important aspect. Okay? And of course, IoT is our strong partner, and there are several programs designed for the IoTs as well. And the picture on the left-hand side, there is a classroom 70 years ago during the Korean War. I'm not sure if even I can call it as a room or not, but maybe the Inner University was founded during that period of time. Now the picture on the right-hand side is the Inner University in these days. So we experienced the big change, and also we gained great knowledge during the development. We are ready to share our knowledge with you and try to be helpful for the development of your IT education. Katalama.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And our next speaker is our new partner. It's a partner that placed great confidence in Uzbekistan's human potential. I strongly believe that the work that you are starting in our country will strengthen partnership among Uzbekistan and India and allow us to become the leaders in the global level. So, dear guests, let me give a floor to the Vishesh Chandarshekhar, the director of Acharya University in Uzbekistan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I said good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah. It's almost lunchtime and I see a lot of people yawning at the back. So I don't have a presentation to make. I don't have slides to change. I have a story to tell you. Don't we all love stories? Yeah? This is not a fictitious story. All the characters, place that I'm telling in the story are all real, of real people, of a real place. This is a story of a city or a town where I was born in. The story goes back to the early 90s, and the town was called Bangalore. It was a sleepy little town, fantastic weather throughout the year, not hot, not cold, around the 24 degrees centigrades throughout the year. People would retire from their jobs and come and settle down in Bangalore because of its beautiful weather. In the early 90s, when the start of information technology took place in India, there was this IT company which was established in the city of Bangalore called Infosys. This started like any rags to riches IT company story. This also began in a car garage in the south part of Bangalore. The city had few universities which were primarily focused on research, not many information technology specific universities. Acharya began during those times. We began in the year 1990. it's very interesting to note when we started the university, the provincial government at that point of time did not have a Ministry of Information Technology at all. There was no concept of Ministry of IT at that time. In the year 1994, Acharya became the first institution to establish a diploma in information technology. This program was specific for mass employment of students in tech support. This was a time when American companies were looking at hiring Indian professionals for providing tech support in the US. So we went to IBM, Acharya went to IBM and said, what are you guys looking for? What are the kind of people that would you want to hire? What are the skill sets that would they need to be finding employment with HP? And then HP said, okay, we want people who can speak good English. They need to understand hardware of computers. They should be knowing how to fix problems. And they must be able to help people on the phone to find solutions for the problems that they're finding at their home PC or whatever they're using. And there began the journey of an IT program which grew along with the city's humongous growth in information technology. Cut to 2023, city is called as the Silicon Valley of India, the city of Bangalore. Exports one of the largest number of IT human resource in the world. Headquarters to every other IT company that you may know, you may not know. It's today the incubation capital of India. Largest number of startups come from this particular city. So what did we do different? What did we do something extraordinary to achieve this? Don't you think the story is very similar? We are now in the beautiful city of Karakul, in the province of Bukhara. Very, very little presence of IT. No IT university exists there, mostly focused in Tashkent. So what did we do different then is what we're trying to do different here. But the methodology remains the same. Today it's a memorable day because we start the functioning of the university. We launched it today. But the research began 2 years back. To be very specific, on the 17th of July 2021, when I first came to Uzbekistan and visited the province of Bukhara. My team was here 2 months ago, visiting every school in the province of Bukhara. We met with 27,000 students who are graduating grade 11, interacting with them, understanding what their skill sets are, to understand where they need to be trained, where is the skilling gap, what are the strengths. And we identified that when it comes to science and math, the students are excellent. The human capital, especially in the STEM area, is very, very strong, something which information technology requires. And then we started visiting the IT companies in the region, understanding from them what do they require, what are the skill sets that the industry requires. Exactly the same thing which we did 30 years ago in Bangalore. And we're trying to recreate that here in Uzbekistan. Technology has changed, the teaching learning processes have changed, classrooms have changed, but the very ethos of an industry in terms of a human workforce hasn't changed. Industry is looking for people who can fit into their puzzle and solve their problems. So when we went to Bukhara, when we went to Karakul, generic understanding is that the English understanding levels or the speaking ability of kids is on the lower side. But what the IT companies wanted were students speaking in English. And we also understood that most of the international universities are offering English language education. There are a lot of English training centers across the city. And there is a requirement for English to be a prerequisite to get into the university. So we went back to the drawing room and asked ourselves, can we offer programs only in English, teaching only in English to kids, even if they don't know English? We said, can we take up this challenge? And we said, yes, we can, because English is only a skill which can be taught. So at Acharya University, any student purely based on their academic merit can come and study information technology. If they speak English, they learn English. So we designed the curriculum to meet the requirement of the specific, the culture or the learning ability of this particular country, and to meet the needs of the industry. This is what we did 30 years ago in the Acharya campus when we went to companies like IBM, Infosys, Wipro, TCS. We went to them and said, can you please come onto my campus? Can you set up a base on the campus? And the industry said, why? Why should we do that? And it's going to cost money. And we said, it's not going to cost you money because you're going to save money by putting up your research labs or an incubation facility on my campus, is because you do not have to retrain the students whom you hire from my campus. You save on the lead time, which is required for hiring from the campus, taking them to the industry, training them again for a period of 2 to 3 months before you put them on actual jobs. We said, do that when the student is on the campus. And that is how the on-campus initiatives with IT industry started. Just last month, we had one more industry join the campus called Candela. It's a network testing industry from Canada. And they were looking at an academic partner in India. They don't have a base in India. They were looking at an academic partner in India to do exactly this. And we opened our doors to them and said, we will give you the place. And this industry now has set up a lab on our campus by investing around $250,000 US, where our students get to work with industry professionals who are into hardware and networking. And because this is the only testing facility available in India, today, Meta, Google, you name the industry, the software company in India has to come to my campus, to the lab which is set up by Candela, to get their networking products certified. That is how we are thinking differently. Like my speakers earlier mentioned, teaching cannot be a one-sided approach. It cannot be a stagnant approach. You need to change yourselves in terms of the need of what the requirement by the industry is, requirement by the student is. Apart from all this, the most important aspect is that these kids who join the university are, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. Their hormones are all over the place. They have energy which is much more than a nuclear power plant. How do you utilize this energy? How do you build in skills which are required by the industry, any industry for that matter? For example, how to work in a team, interpersonal relationships. These are things which happens on a university campus. You need to focus on those aspects to help bring a student who's rounded, who's suited for the industry. That is exactly what we are trying to do here. And I hope in the next 4 to 5 years, Karakul will start the journey with its first set of graduates graduating from our campus, entering into the workforce, not just in Uzbekistan, across the globe, who not only get into the workforce, but also create job opportunities for its fellow students. And that's the reason when we established the campus, when we were in talks with the ministry, we said, let us have an incubation facility on the campus itself. Let us have a BPO on the campus itself. Let's have a KPO on the campus itself. So that's why the university campus is not called a university campus, it's called the IT cluster. Because we are having everything in-house in the new campus that is being built in the Karakul town. I'll still call it town because I want to take 4 years to call it a city. And inshallah, if everything goes well, and with all the support of the students, the faculty, the policymakers, the industries in Uzbekistan, I'm sure that's not too far away. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been lovely being here, being in the morning session and addressing all of you today. Before I end, I once again repeat, this has been a very memorable day, and I hope this day is very memorable to you as well in 4 years' time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your story, Mr. Chandrasekhar. Our last but not least speaker is a person having huge potential practical experience in the sphere of IT. He is a CEO of an international consulting company with offices in 9 countries around the world. Mr. Nizamov Azat Vazikovich, the floor is yours.
So having the privilege being on the stage and nobody took the water, I will drink it first on the thing. So, and it seems I'm the barrier between the lunch and our session here, but I would like to share very fast maybe the feedback and insight from the industry, from the employer who will be hiring those young talents or absorbing the current candidates which are working in completely different industries. Yeah. So we run the company. We have an IT company which is 30 years old, and we are doing completely different wide range of activities in IT. Yeah. So we are not just programming, we have the programming. So we are not just consulting, so we have the wide activities. That's why we need the wide experience and skill set of the employees. That we are working with, yeah? And the customers demanding more and more day by day the quality and the knowledge of our employees. And of course, being IT company, the main asset and the only asset is the people, our employees. And when we last year made the decision to came to Uzbekistan to start working, for us of course was interesting to see how the fast growing and the mind is how fast changing in this country. And I felt last year that it's the way to the prosperity, not only of the country, not only of the people of the countries, but also of the businesses which will come earlier and will invest and will work earlier as the early adopters. And as you see here is the quote of the president of Uzbekistan. Could you please put the previous? Maybe I need to translate to the English one, which says that the only way to the new Uzbekistan is the increasing quality of education. And here is with the huge compliments to the ministry, to IT Park, who are doing amazing job. Yeah, this 1.2 million coders program, which they have successfully launched and already progressed well. But small finding from our experience last year. So when we are coming to the country, of course, we are bringing our skilled resources, and we are hiring some resources from the market. So first finding was that we could hire the specialists that we need less than 10 people in Tashkent in 1 year. Then the second step, what we are doing usually, and in Uzbekistan, like in Cairo in Egypt, we came with the 2 options, 2 ideas. One is the internal market, and the second, building the hub to work on the other markets. And in Uzbekistan, in Cairo, those 2 hubs are designed from our side to work to the Middle East and North Africa. So English language, Arabic language is presumably should be positioned here as well. Also the mentality. Yeah? When we are bringing, for example, the Russian resources or Belarusian resources to Saudi, the mentality is also the game changer. They don't have that DNA of Islam to work and to speak with the customers. I will come to that later. But also one of the reasons we found, just analyzing the situation, with booming education, booming the business needs, we took the statistic of the World Bank. That's not a lot of statistics I trust personally. The World Bank is one of the minor sources which I trust fully. And if you see the ratio between the population, the pupils, students on the school, and the higher education teachers, the ratio of Uzbekistan, comparing to not even to the United States, comparing to Kazakhstan or to neighbors, to the Kyrgyz Republic and to Russia, is completely different. Yeah? If you calculate, it's between Russia and US, it's 10 times difference. So now it's call to action or ask from the industry, not only focus on the coders, but focus on the trainers. Train the trainers, please. That's very important for the future development. And to repeat the story of Bangalore, or to repeat or overcome the story of Silicon Valley, you need to have a very tight connection with the industry, with the universities. And of course, government support here is essential, but without the higher education, you can not only teach the low-level coders, we need to go higher. We need to build the success stories. And the next one, what I wanted also to highlight, focusing on the academic knowledge, on the fundamental knowledge and the sciences, it's very important. And we as employers expecting that students will know math or programming or any IT stuff more proper than even our employees, because they are younger and they just graduate from the universities. But also, just a second, what we are missing, non-academic skills, especially in some countries, because even my kids, some of my kids were studying in Russia, some of them in the British school. The difference between the scientific and the soft skills ratio in education is completely different. Of course, you can have a very nice engineer, but which cannot work in the team, which cannot promote or present his findings, his knowledge. He sits still in the corner. And any non-academic knowledge is also important, and it should be also populated, promoted by not only the universities, but also the employers, by the government authorities and others. And it's very important. It's not important for the employees. It's important for the countries. For Uzbekistan, which is growing the most actively, in ex-CIS countries for sure, for the everyday life skills. When we are interviewing some of the kids, not from Tashkent, but from the other regions, we see that they are missing some of the knowledge, which is, in Germany or in UAE, it's usual knowledge. It's not something completely new. And emotional, personal development, and I think Islam mentioned that holistic knowledge and the skills are completely important. And just as an example, what we are as an employer doing in education part. And I would like, of course, to spend less on education in my company and to receive the students or the newcomers with those knowledge. So what we are doing, we are always spending money and time on non-academic skills, on the soft skills, on the changing the perspectives, on the crashing the minds of especially the young people. And the young people are, so maybe next time we should invite the psychologist to explain us, because we are a bit older than the young generation. They are thinking and acting differently. And to manage them, we need also to understand them more properly. So another thing, what we are doing, for example, here in Uzbekistan, it's when we are taking the young professionals from the universities or with the 1 or 2 year experience in their work experience. So we are doing the special program to teach them being either business consultant or developer or the implementation consultant of, for example, ERP, ECM, or BI systems. It took 3 months. So we are spending 3 months, and then we are putting them in the projects, and after, if they have nice body, nice program, in 1-2 years, we have an experienced person, which could be used not only inside Uzbekistan project, but in, in Saudi Aramco, in 2 years, with the salary 3 times more than the regular coder. Then we have experienced professional programs. We call it inside Terlink MBA, where we have 8 modules over 2 years, which is the also mix of the soft skills and the technical skills. Because and I think everybody shares that continuous learning is the only way to survive in that dynamic world and to succeed. And the good thing also to mention, and here the universities are crucial, it's the topic of the collaboration between customers universities and the companies like us in developing something new, what we call true life research and development, which comes from the projects, which comes from the labs. As an example, we have a customer who created now 4 labs, and those labs reports to CEO, not even the CIO, not CTO, reports to CEO, 4 labs, and their task is to think what the company will do after 5 years. And we are part of that, and some universities part of that. That's changing the mindset of the, especially 30, 28 years old talents completely. And they are moving our company, and they're moving the industry ahead. And that's the several things I wanted to tell, that train the trainers, don't only focus on the coders, non-academic skills are essential, and good luck to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nizamov. The next, our event is panel session. However, we don't have time. So I invite to the scene our speakers, but we will ask them only one question. So I invite to the floor Neina Chouhari, Vice Chancellor of MIT University in Tashkent. Robert Franz, Professor at Brandenburg University of Applied Sciences. Please. Byung-Jum Kim, Vice President for General Affairs at Kookmin University. Liu Wenfeng, Director of Department of International Cooperation and Exchange, Xi'an Zedong University. And our honorable moderator of the panel session, Mr. Muzaffar Jalalov.
Thank you very much, dear moderator, and lefting so much time. Good afternoon. I know everybody's so hungry, me either, and I'll try to make it shorter. I'm really sorry about our speakers that we're delayed almost an hour, and however, I'll try to make it interesting. Maximum 15 minutes, maximum, with one question, and I will, with no asking, interrupt our speakers if they will be talking too much, starting from myself. So, I'm Muzaffar Jalalov, as I've been introduced, Rector of International University in Tashkent. Very happy to see you. I'll start with one thing that especially this Uzbekistan representatives are participating. Where we were 7 years ago, this time, we were in the fields, especially teachers, students, and government officials. We were collecting cottons, and we didn't talk too much about IT and education at all. And we being almost, and after these reforms, Uzbekistan transformed from cotton exporting country into IT export country within only 7 years. I think that, first of all, this is the thanks to the political will. And we couldn't do it if our president didn't have such political will. So we had yesterday we had a meeting with our president had a meeting with the rectors, some of the rectors in the region. So he almost mentioned half of these things that we were talking our speakers in the previous sessions. Reducing almost some of the education, for example, IT or logistics students' education programs from 4 years to 3 years, for example, the bachelor degree programs. Or one number I would like to also mention, number of foreign universities in Uzbekistan, 4 times increased, not if, for example, if the number of universities just overall increased almost 3 times, but among them, and before, and another thing that we even couldn't talk about the private universities. We didn't have any private universities in Uzbekistan, and if I'm not mistaken, Amit University, I will start with vice rector, and Amit University is also a private university. So just briefly, please, just 3 minutes. How do you are going to transform with, according to this, our topic? For example, we are talking about the adapting IT education into the future jobs. So we do all understand that if we continuously start and teaching, for example, in these terms, we'll be late, and the companies and IT will be going much faster. So do you have any some kind of big plans about IT education in the future? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muzaffar. It is an honor to be the part of this August gathering. As you are asking, and I have just seen the presentation of Honorable Minister, wherein he's mentioned the kind of efforts and funds and resources which government of Uzbekistan is putting into the effort of strengthening the digital literacy among students. We make sure that the concepts like artificial intelligence, big data, or machine learning, deep learning, which are riding back on the industrial revolution recently introduced to us, we try to integrate it in the curriculum because we know that this has the potential to change the industry and creating new job opportunities. Uzbekistan is growing very fast in adapting these kinds of technology. It brings a lot of responsibility on the education institutions also when the government is putting so much of effort to integrate the latest technology. In IT, it is very difficult to sit back and relax. We have a very strong industry advisory board, and we are offering 367 programs in 60 diverse disciplines, but the frequency with which we have to revisit and review and revise the curriculum of IT programs is way higher than any other discipline. Because the sector itself is very dynamic, it is evolving very fast. So we make sure that we sit with the industry, make the desired set of skills which are required for the IT professionals, and not just imparting the knowledge of the application of IT technologies. I believe it is the responsibility that we must integrate the content of ethics and responsible decision making. With the use of technology, it is very important that the IT professionals should know the implication of their work, they should know the impact of their actions, and they make responsible decisions like data privacy concerns and biases algorithm. So we are trying to integrate the component with the latest technologies. We're trying to integrate the component of ethical responsibility. We inculcate the culture of lifelong learning because it is ever evolving. We are trying to create professional development, virtual platforms wherein our IT students can keep themselves updated with the latest technologies. Industry academia ties for me is very, very important based on my experiences. I believe our responsibility is to produce the industry-ready graduates. When Honorable Minister mentioned about the largest IT hub and no brain drain, where the workforce would come from, it will come from the higher education institutions. That brings in a lot of responsibility on us. And when Uzbekistan is on the brink of this technological revolution, I think by integrating the emerging technologies and inculcating this culture of lifelong learning and ethical values and soft skills and industry academia ties, if we foster, then I believe we can have the IT graduates who are empowered to contribute to the society and the nation as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you
I
very
hope I
much.
did not take
Yes.
much of your time.
Yes, we are very happy to see the more and more Indian universities in Uzbekistan. Of course, there are in Uzbekistan now 5 Korean partner universities, but hope India also will catch up, and our other Korean partners also will be joining to this competition, let's say. Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. Robert Franz, welcome to Uzbekistan. You are representing Brandenburg University of Applied Science of Germany, one of the conservative education I think standard has Germany, and then it's very difficult sometimes and to change or amendments, do some amendments in the education program. And but however, it's very competitive in the preparing for world-class specialists, especially engineering specialists. So what's your views and what's your recommendations? And then do you have any plans to come to Uzbekistan market? Because I haven't seen any German university in Uzbekistan yet. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your invitation.
Mike, please.
Thank you for the invitation.
Second. I mean, the right side.
It's just going out.
Try this one.
Is that working? Okay. So thank you for your invitation to Uzbekistan. The exciting thing on IT is that if you talk formally about IT, you talk about the guys in the basement working on a server. Nowadays, IT is all and everywhere. So you could have so different job profiles from, of course, still a developer, but also you can a supply chain manager, you can a doctor who is doing analysis in diagnosis by supported by data. You can be a financial analyst. So IT is more or less all and everywhere. Therefore, you cannot have one IT education for all and everyone. You still have to make IT coming part of every study you have. If it's law, if it's medicine, if it's physical, so it's not IT has to change, all the other studies has to change. Our sentence, or to make it more practical, is that the students have to experience real life problems. So they do not only have to read theory and learn theory and to do something for the professor or the teacher and to get some grade, but they really have to learn some competencies. So they should be able to do anything later on. And that's also the reason why we made a cooperation with the IT Park. We have an online learning program where also Uzbekistan students take part. It's a worldwide program. So even if we are very little university in Germany, close to Berlin, Brandenburg is even most people not known. We are close to Berlin, but we are very small university with just 3,000 students. But even in our program, we have worldwide more than 5,000 students per semester. So we have more than twice than all our university has students on campus. I think that's one of the future things that you can address a global learners and making also this intercultural experiences they have to do and to work in real life systems like they have later on experience on the job.
Okay. So can you turn off your, I think they are working one by one. Yes. Yes, you missed too. Please, can you turn off the mic? The next one, you have to push. I know that, thank you very much for sharing and sorry that we cannot hear more. I can see that you are prepared and anyway, I'd like to move to our colleague from Kukmin University. I know that my two friends graduated from Kukmin University and now one is working in Amazon and another working for Apple. And they was Uzbekistan guys, and we all three graduated from Tashkent IT University, of course. And we actually know the Kukmin University. And how about you? What you are doing in this changing the education, this paradigm, and bringing the new one? And just 2-3 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for giving opportunity to talk about something what KM new and actually TUIT and KM Kukmin University working together right now. Well, I don't want to spend a lot of time because already many speakers mentioned very great things. but all that great idea actually into our TUIT and Kunmin University project. We recently started a 5-year project for develop the business IT program. This is the kind of new things because we are emphasized, previous speakers mentioned, how much important of industry academic cooperation. Especially we need to teaching the students for how to work with the industry, more like learning by doing, because we are rather than we only to teaching in the classroom. Actually, our classroom is like 18th century, 19th century somehow. But our student is a new generation, so-called Gen Z, something like that. They are quite different because we are weeks ago, our Kunmin University student and the TUIT student are doing the hackathon activity here. And then I saw that there's a very good opportunity, how they didn't know each other, the languages are different, but they can learn each other, teaching each other, and then make a new future. I think that's our dream. So Kunmin University come here for quite different types of education. We hope that will be emphasized, not only technology itself, we emphasize critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. So that's 3 things, right direction for with what many visionary people here and the many great teachers and then business and also government sector. So I hope that Kunmin University make a good existence here. So I hope that we very expected to the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Professor Kim. Of course, looking forward to collaborate too. Now, I'll switch to Professor Liu Wenfing from the Chinese University. Could you please talk a little bit about your university and how you are dealing with these future challenges about future job-oriented IT education and any plans to come to Uzbekistan?
A little bit worse because I'm also hungry. 2 things about our university on education. The first one is the problem-oriented industry-involved education. There is one very interesting problem. Before we have advanced physics, before we have advanced mathematics, we already have many great things. For example, the pyramids in Egypt and the Great Wall in China. So why? That is the power of practice. So in our university, we have close relationship with the industry and make some great contribution to the education and industry. The second one is the interdisciplinary research. For example, this in fact is very important for medical things, medical treatment. But a professor in our university in electrical engineering, he made a magic box. This side, maybe this side, this side. The efficiency is maybe over 1,000 times higher than the traditional liquid alcohol, this efficiency. My colleague, maybe he is still sit in the room. So that is the power of the interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary research. These 2 characteristics is the key point of the education of our university. Concerned to my university, Xi'an Jiao Zhong University, it's located in China, Xi'an. Xi'an is a very interesting place. It has many interesting things. For example, culture totem and many delicious food, more than over 100 different kinds of noodles.
Don't mention about food, please.
and great people. Our president Xi Jinping raised the One Belt One Road initiative in Nazarbayev University. He said, "Shanxi is my hometown. Xi'an is in Shanxi." Xi'an is also very famous, how to say in English. In Chinese, we call it feng shui. In English, maybe good mountain, good sea, and good fortune. So anyway, welcome to China, welcome to Xi'an, and welcome to our Xi'an Jiao Zhong University, and take good fortune with you, around you. That's all.
Thank you. Actually, I was calling to Uzbekistan, but you're calling to China now, probably. So maybe we will think about after lunch. Hope not to noodles, but with some plov. Anyway, I'm sorry that I couldn't give you much time. I had so many angry people looking at me, especially that part, and I would like to appreciate your time. I hope you can enjoy staying in Uzbekistan, and not only this conference, but anyway, now is wonderful weather. And I would like to wish you all the best, and hopefully we can also find some ways to collaborate with each other. Thank you very much. Thank you. Panel is closed.